Under certain biological conditions, hypertrichosis might be that one disease. I can say that werewolves can definitely exist. Furious rabies. Werewolves are people with the ability to transform into various animals, most frequently wolves. We all have seen many movies and played computer games about werewolves. Most people believe that werewolves are magical creatures and they do not exist in real life. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about the history of werewolves and prove that werewolves are real under certain circumstances. Let's get started. First of all, let's try to figure out who werewolves are and when humanity mentions them for the first time. The type of beast that a werewolf morphed into and how they did it varied in different civilizations. For example, not every single country or region has wolves. Therefore, despite the lack of a single unifying origin story for them, werewolves have a variety of historical and cultural roots. Let's look at some of the main werewolf origins. Ancient shamanistic beliefs are one of the werewolves legend's earliest sources. Many ancient tribes practiced shamanism, and shamans were frequently seen as bridges between the physical and spiritual worlds. Some shamans held the notion that they could transform into animals, such as wolves, in order to acquire extraordinary abilities or communicate with spirits. For instance, in the computer game World of Warcraft, the class Shaman can turn into a wolf. These concepts may have influenced the idea of shape-shifting humans over time, leading to the legend of the werewolf. Also, the werewolf legend gained popularity in medieval Europe when stories of people who could change their appearance spread throughout the continent. These werewolves were frequently portrayed as cursed people who transformed into wolves without their will, especially during full moons. Folklore in Europe also gave werewolves a reputation for being terrifying by linking them to witchcraft and demonic influences. Normally, this kind of legend has some sort of background. For example, there was a disease that people could not explain and decided that it was a curse or some sort of magic. Many people link werewolves to lycanthropy, a rare psychiatric disorder. A rare and fascinating psychological condition known as lycanthropy is characterized by hallucination that a person can transform into an animal, most frequently a wolf. The word lycanthropy comes from Greek mythology, where the terms lycos and anthropos denoted wolves and humans respectively. This illness is regarded as a particular instance of clinical lycanthropy, which is a subset of delusional disorder in psychiatry. Lycanthropes actually think they may transform into wolves or act like them. They may engage in wolf-like behaviors like howling, growling, or adopting wolf-like movements during these periods. Even in the presence of contradictory information, these beliefs are often strong and difficult to change. The lycanthropic delusion is frequently culturally influenced, and the transformation into a wolf may be thought to be brought on by particular occasions, rituals, or environmental conditions. Given the widespread folkloric relationship of werewolves with the lunar cycle, some people could think that the transformation takes place during particular lunar phases, notably during the full moon. Although the precise causes of lycanthropy are not entirely understood, it is commonly believed to be related to underlying neurological or mental health disorders. It is thought to be an expression of the person's subconscious mind affected by societal norms, myth, or past events. Other psychiatric conditions including schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or other delusional disorders may coexist with lycanthropy. Abuse of drugs, especially hallucinogenic ones, can lead to the formation of delusional ideas such as those related to lycanthropy. However, lycanthropy is a mental disorder and it could not convince people that someone can actually turn into a wolf. Therefore, there must be something else. For example, a disease that can change someone's appearance and make them more similar to a wolf. In my opinion, hypertrichosis might be that one disease. Due to its historical connections to werewolf mythology, hypertrichosis, also known as werewolf syndrome, is an uncommon genetic condition defined by excessive hair growth on multiple body areas. The hair growth is frequently significantly longer and thicker than what it is typical for the affected person's age, sex, and ethnicity. However, this might not be enough for a werewolf. As we know, werewolves are often aggressive and tend to attack humans. Therefore, there must be a disease that could potentially make someone experience uncontrolled aggression. There is one disease that is famous for making people extremely dangerous and violent. This disease is called rabies. Rabies is primarily spread through the saliva of an infected animal coming in contact with person's eyes, mucous membranes, or broken skin. Once within the body, the virus spreads along the nerves to the brain and spinal cord, causing brain inflammation. Depending on how far the bite is from the central nervous system, the incubation time for rabies can range from a few days to several months. Initial signs and symptoms may be vague and resemble flu-like symptoms such as fever, headache, and exhaustion. One of the two types of clinical rabies seen in infected animals and people is furious rabies. It is characterized by aggressive and hyperactive conduct, which frequently results in spontaneous assaults and violent outbursts. Due to the severe violence shown in those who have the disease, furious rabies is often referred to as an aggressive rabies. As a result, a person who has a combination of all three diseases might be seen as a werewolf by others in ancient times. People did not have the necessary scientific knowledge to explain what was the cause of the disease and thought that it might be a curse. Moreover, since rabies is transmitted through the bite, we can also believe that the origin of the werewolf is related to this disease. According to folklore, people can become werewolves after they were bitten by another werewolf. Let's talk about other aspects of werewolves and try to connect them to any symptoms of any of the disease we talked about. It is known that werewolves are often associated with the full moon. I don't think that there is a real biological connection. In many folklores and belief systems, the moon is a symbol of change and transformation. Therefore, I think that people just associated werewolves with the full moon for cultural reasons. However, some doctors report hypersensitivity as one of the symptoms of rabies. Rabies may cause photophobia, a condition in which a person becomes hypersensitive to light as the illness worsens. This light sensitivity can cause discomfort and an aversion to well-lit place. Therefore, the light from the full moon might be enough in some cases to trigger hypersensitivity. Another interesting aspect of werewolves is that it is believed they can only be killed using silver bullets. In my opinion, this belief comes from uncontrolled aggression caused by rabies. In some cases, people who experience symptoms of rabies might become uncontrollably aggressive to the point when it's almost impossible to stop them. You can look up pictures of people affected by furious rabies by yourself. People report that it is extremely hard to physically stop a person with furious rabies from attacking others. Affected people become completely uncontrolled and in some cases even hard to kill. Therefore, I believe that using silver bullets is a symbol of using an extremely powerful weapon that can help to stop someone with rabies. Now, let's talk about historical accounts of werewolves to better understand how widespread this creature is and what are common features of these accounts. First, the German village of Bedburg experienced a number of horrifying murders in the 16th century, with the victims frequently being torn apart. Peter Stump, a local farmer who was suspected of being a werewolf, confessed to the murder while being tortured and claimed that he had made a deal with the devil. Stump was executed in 1589 and his decapitated head was put on display to serve as an obstacle to werewolves. Second, in the 16th century, a hermit named Gilles Garnier from the French town of Poligny was charged with being a werewolf. He was believed to have taken the form of a wolf and killed and eaten several young people. In 1573, Garnier was detained, put on trial and executed. Third, a number of werewolf trials that occurred in Livonia, modern-day Estonia and Latvia in the 17th century led to the execution of several people who were convicted of engaging in witchcraft and turning into wolves. The fear of witchcraft and supernatural beings at the time was represented in these trials, which were a component of the greater European witch hunts. Fourth, in Ansbach, Germany in 1685, a wolf attacked and killed a little girl. Hans Wagner was accused of being the werewolf since the locals thought the animal was actually a werewolf. After being imprisoned and subjected to torture, Wagner confessed, saying that he made a deal with the devil and transformed into a wolf to attack the girl. The unifying feature of all of the above described cases is that some sort of magic was involved. For example, someone made a deal with the devil or was cursed. Moreover, we can see that none of the people who were prosecuted for being werewolves had any symptoms of rabies or any other disease mentioned before. As a result, we can claim that the concept of the werewolf was formed prior to the described cases. Most likely, it was formed by some people who had symptoms of one or more described above diseases. However, since the image was so influential and powerful, people used it in the past to justify crimes. I think that the case of werewolves is very important and prominent. It shows how important it is to analyze all mystical and mysterious aspects of our life using science. A deep analysis of biology and anthropology can help to understand why certain creatures were created in folklore in the first place. As a result, I can say that werewolves can definitely exist. It just depends on how you interpret this idea. If you see a werewolf as a magical creature, then it might be a little bit difficult to prove its existence. However, under certain biological conditions, a person can exhibit all features of the typical werewolf, or at least be very similar to its original image. In the end, I just have one more question for you. Do you think werewolves exist? Thank you so much for watching my video, I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss my future videos. I'm planning to make more videos like this one in the future. Also, right now you can see all my social media platforms on the screen. Feel free to check out my other content. Again, thank you so much for watching my video and stay safe.